So welcome back to what the papers are saying. So let me take you through quickly to what the papers are saying. We'll start with a big one to do with politics and the unveiling of the running mate for Dr. Bawumia for the 2024 ticket for the new patriotic party, which happened in the Ashanti region, Kumasi to be specific. Let's see how that was captured. The Ghanaian publisher says Bawumia, Napo, Ghana's future. President Nana Akufo-Addo speaking over there. The Chronicle says, don't let Bawumia regret his decision, Otumfuo tells Napo. Still on that story, we'll take you to myjoyonline.com. They say, not even your Nkrumah developed Ghana like Akufo-Addo. That's Opoku Prempeh speaking over there. And finally, on that matter, we have on ChannelOneNews.com, Fifi Boafo, the spokesperson for Napo speaking. He says Napo's comment not intended to disparage Nkrumah. So those are some of the stories around the unveiling of Napo as well as the 2024 ticket for the NPP. Let's move away from that. And former President John Mahama also met with the press over the weekend on Sunday last week. Let's see what came out of that presser. The Today newspaper says, Airbus scandal, prosecute me if I did anything wrong, Mahama to government. CityNewsroom.com, nobody in my government will be allowed to buy state assets, Mahama speaking. And then ChannelOneNews.com, I am committed to improving free SHS, Mahama speaking over there. We'll still stay with politics and we'll go to the debate on whether the two people who are running for president, that's President Mahama X and Vice President Bawumia, should have that debate. And let's see how that story is being captured. Graphic.com says Bawumia challenges Mahama to live debate on economy, governance and policies. And CityNewsroom.com says, no need for Mahama-Bawumia debate, Bawa Monktari speaking over there. So let's move away from that. Another story that is still making headlines has to do with the sale of some assets of SSNIT, specifically some shares in some of the hotels here in Ghana. We'll start with a new crusading guide to see the latest around that. SSNIT defends decision to offload 60% shares in hotels. Its Director General has been speaking this week and he has been trying to defend that move. Also on the Chronicle, it says sale of La Palm, Labadi others. SSNIT rejects Rock City terms of payment. Hotels still not sold. Hotels still not sold. And then finally on ChannelOneNews.com, it says NPRA approves sale of SSNIT's 60% shares in 4 hotels. Employment Minister told Parliament this on Thursday. And then we'll move from that, go to another story that is still also being discussed, having to do with the move to get some more people in the Supreme Court, more judges there. Let's see the latest around that. We'll start with Republic Press. They say Supreme Court at breaking point as Chief Justice sounds alarm on judge shortage. The Ghanaian publisher says CJ justifies Supreme Court numbers. And then finally on this story, the custodian says broad consultation done on increase in SC judges. CJ speaking. So those are some of the big stories for this week. When we come back, I'll introduce my guest and then we'll look at the various angles. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. So yeah, welcome back to what the papers are saying. Let me introduce my guest for today. Samuel Oriafe is our presidential correspondent for Channel One TV as well as City FM. Sami, welcome.
Thank you very much, Vivian.
And then I also have with me Sela Madonu, who is also a host for The Big Issue every Saturday, starting at 9 o'clock all the way to 12 o'clock. Sela, welcome.
Thank you, Vivian.
Right, so gentlemen, we'll start with some politics and we'll start with the unveiling of former energy minister. He resigned today. The president has accepted that resignation, Sami, that's right? Yeah. So now his portfolio will be the current running mate for the NPP's candidate for the 2024 elections, Dr. Bawumia. So we saw some a bit of some activity this Tuesday, right, of his unveiling in the Ashanti region. Kumasi, you were there and brought us some commentary and all that. Tell us how it was, the atmosphere, the whole process, the advice from Opoku, and then we'll come to his speech proper after he was duly, introduced. All right,
good evening, Vivian. Thank you very much. Tuesday was a blend of tradition and politics. I always put it that way. Tradition because here's a gentleman who is, there were reports that he was a royal. Now, on Tuesday, it was duly confirmed that indeed he was or he is a royal. And so as someone who is coming from the Menshia Palace, the party thought it was right and proper that they go and seek the blessings of the overlord of the Ashanti Kingdom, which is the Opoku, to tell him that indeed one of your sons or your grandsons is being nominated or selected to partner Dr. Bawumia in the December election. And so the party needed his blessing to make sure that this particular activity becomes successful. So that was done. The full glare of the cameras, everybody saw what happened. Opoku gave pieces of advice that Dr. Bawumia should not regret picking Dr. Opoku Prempeh as his running mate, and a few things were said there. From there, it moved on to the political scene, which was the Jubilee Park, where the political ceremony to officially unveil him to the party supporters there and the entire Ghanaian populace in respect of the selection of Dr. Opoku Prempeh as the running mate to Dr. Bawumia. Quite a number of people showed up. We're told that all the 47 constituencies in the Ashanti region were expected to bring in their people, party supporters in there. The place was filled up. Quite a number of people showed up.
There were some debates all over that the place wasn't really packed. If you look at the drone shots, a lot of patches of empty space. Was that really the case?
Well, from where we sat, and we were doing our report, we saw scores of people in there. Now, you only see the gaps after the whole event was over because we couldn't get up. We were sitting down and filing our reports and doing our discussion. So opposite us, we saw the crowd all right. And per the party, or when we spoke to the party, that's the crowd they were expecting, and they came in their numbers. Okay. So for them, they are satisfied with it. Everybody who matters within the party was present. The president, the vice, who is a presidential candidate, senior government officials, party executive, almost everybody was present for this event. The speeches came in. President spoke, attacked the NDC, Dr. Bawumia did same, the party general secretary, the national chairman, until the man of the moment also spoke and then made some few comments which has generated, a lot of debate in respect of the things you said. We'll come into that as you said. So I'll leave that side for now. But for the party, because after the whole program, we spoke to some party executive who said that it was a very successful program. That's what they wanted. They wanted to build the base of the party, which is the Ashanti region. Yeah. Now the party has given itself a target of 85% for party members to come out in their numbers to vote in December, because they believe that if these numbers show up in December, the party can win the election. They will be able to break the 8, because they tell us that historically, if the NPP is able to pull more than 70% in the Ashanti region, they are able to win that particular election. If the NDC is also able to pull more than 25% of the voter population in the Ashanti region, the NDC is able to win that particular election. So the cry for the NPP is that they should get at least 85%. That's the target of people to come out and vote. They want to avoid what happened in 2008. A lot of party people did not vote. A lot of them were disgruntled. They want to cure that mischief. The more reason why they've gone in for someone from the region, someone who is well respected within the region, someone who commands a lot of respect from the region, someone who is from the royal family. And the Ashanti revere their royals. And so they believe that getting someone from that scale will help the party break the 8, get the necessary numbers that they want and then they can do it. For in all, the party says it was a very successful event for them.
Okay, so I think we'll move straight to what has come out of that rally, where statements were made, and the one to do with the running mate, which has generated a lot of, conversation all over. I think the first that generated some bit of attention was the advice from Otumfuo, but subsequently the statements from Napo has, covered that statement. So I think we'll just go straight to the issue on him saying that Momo Nkrumah Nanado has done much, much better, which is generating a lot of attention. Should that be the case, Selom, and why should we be bothered by this statement? We're told that in politics there must be a comparison, and so something must be compared with the other to make sense.
Well, I mean, great program it was. Nice program by our standards. I mean, the traditional part of it, very good. The Otumfuo's speech was fantastic. And when you look at the speech, you reflect on it, you realize that he said a lot of things, but also didn't say a lot of things. And the things he didn't say, I mean, he did what he had to do. So you can't blame him for anything. If things go bad, you can't blame him because he said what he had to say. And he put in the necessary caveats here and there. No wonder they say he's a wise person. And that showed. So everything was prepared. I mean, the president spoke. He said what he had to say. Very experienced politician. He did his introduction. The introduction was important, the John the Baptist moment. And the introduction was done in such a way to let the people know that these are his people and these are the people who have his endorsement. The issue there is whether his endorsement will carry the necessary weight or not. But for the people who are core, who believe in his cause, that endorsement is important. But for the many people out there who are mere sympathizers or floating voters, whether that endorsement will do the trick or not is the issue, because he has problems. It's not like he is a president who has had a very pristine reign. No, he is not. He's had difficulties. Indeed, the Global Info Analytics says that 63% of Ghanaians think that he's leading the country in the wrong direction. About 50% of Ghanaians say that their standard of living is deteriorated, is bad. And about 60% of the population, of the people polled, say they disapprove of his job or how he's doing his job. So that introduction is important, but that introduction must also be seen in the context, as in what it brings to the table. So, it's not like somebody with, an unprecedented job approval rating is the one giving the endorsement or doing the introduction. Be that as it may, that introduction was done, that's fine. The event, the symbolism was right, the energy, you could feel it, and a whole lot of things. Then came the moment, even before the moment, and before even the president did his introduction, we heard Kennedy Japan. For me, he was the best speaker of the day.
But was his, not to cut you, at a point his speech just ended abruptly.
No, he ended it. He really ended his speech. But at the latter part of his speech, he threw in a warning to the party executives that they should go down there and look at the disgruntled party.
But that's the message, really.
I think that was the party ended.
Yes.
It felt like it.
That was the message, really.
Yeah. That was it.
He spoke, he was
level-headed.
He was coherent. Yeah. He spoke like a party elder and somebody who has seen it all. He spoke, And for me, his speech was, if not the best, one of the best. Bawumia came, he said what he had to say, throwing the challenge, saying that he was the best vice president, most effective vice president, the fourth republic or in the history of Ghana. Yeah, you can say all of that. Then came the moment that everybody was waiting for. Then came the moment that the whole country was waiting for. Everything was prepared for him, right from the Otumfuo Palace, to the Jubilee Field or the Jubilee Park.
The Jubilee Park.
And in fact, I was driving when I was listening.
Don't tell me park.
No, I didn't. I won't park. I was driving when I was listening. I think that the transmission went off and came back, or maybe I think I got a call or something happened. So when I got back to it, he was speaking. I was wondering who was this before I know it should be him because everybody spoke. He was the one left. I think his speech was underwhelming. I was not
impressed.
From the
beginning?
Right from the beginning, I think it was underwhelming. I think he meant so much to make an impact. And sometimes when you mean something so much, you underperform. That's what I don't recall any central theme of his speech. If there was, I don't know. Rather, what he's left us with is controversy and debate. In public speaking or in speech writing and speech making, controversy and debate sometimes is good. It makes people remember. But if the controversy or the debate is for the wrong reason, that it takes attention from the substance you're trying to push, then that is a disincentive. Okay. So, for example, he makes a comparison between Nanado and Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah, I mean, they say posterity, let posterity be the judge. Kwame Nkrumah left decades ago, so posterity is judging him or has judged him right. The BBC named him the African of the millennium. That's posterity judging you. Comparing him to somebody who is still in office, we don't even know how he's going to end. We hope it ends well, you know. And of course, he said when he retires, etc., etc. I don't think there was even any basis for comparison. But I won't go as far as say that they shouldn't compare. You can compare. You compare based on what you see. Maybe he's seen more that of Nanado than we have seen. Yeah. So he has to compare. But you don't compare with excuse my language, you don't compare day and night. Day and night. Kwame Nkrumah stands tall. You don't compare Nanado to Kwame Nkrumah. They don't even come close. You know, he eclipses Nanado entirely. That is not even my problem. My problem was with how he referred to Kwame Nkrumah. That Kwame Nkrumah, no, your Kwame Nkrumah. And you see, he fell into the trap because this is a man who is being framed as arrogant, as condescending, as disrespectful. You see, and indeed, when they went to Otumfuo's place, Otumfuo said that's what people have said. He hasn't seen it, and he can say he is not like that. But make sure you don't prove the people right. All right? Make sure. So that's an elderly person speaking. Make sure you don't prove the people right. And your first attempt, the first speech, the first thing you have to say is to prove the people right. Kwame Nkrumah. What do you mean by Kwame Nkrumah?
Maybe it means like your beloved, like let's say Sami is, so Sami that you see him as all that. No?
Yes, but it is,
I don't understand.
No, it is,
but when
yes, we don't understand you, but we're trying to understand it from the little we know. And that wasn't elective tree, that was core tree. You know. So you see, it was disrespectful to refer to a national hero as Mo Kwame Nkrumah. In fact, if you had even referred to Rawlings as Mo Rawlings, no, and Mo Mahama, no, it would have still been disrespectful.
So in account terms,
no, you can't justify this in any way, and not everybody speaks Akan. That's even part of communication. If you are communicating to a large majority of people, the thing is, it's live on radio, live on TV. You don't speak a language, or you don't speak language in terms that people will not understand and people will debate. Then you've not communicated. Yeah. And indeed, nobody can defend this. His spokesperson, in trying to explain what he said that wasn't what he meant. If he was to say it again, he would have said it differently. He didn't mean to say that, but that was how he said it. And the spokesperson, of course, will euphemize, will try to lessen, or smoothen the rough edges of what his boss has said. But that's what it is. And you see, we must desist from this thing we say about people being on political platform, that he was on a charged political platform, so the things he said could be forgiven or could be excused. That is the character of the person.
So you're saying that right from the word go, we cannot, is it him that cannot compare Nkrumah to Nanado or any other president we have who is still alive cannot be compared to Nkrumah?
I'm saying, so I said two things. That comparing Nkrumah to Nanado, I don't think is the right thing to do, because Nanado comes nowhere close. Nanado comes nowhere close to Nkrumah.
Can he be compared to Kufuor? Can he be compared?
Yeah, these are people in his class. Okay. He can be compared to Kufuor. He can be compared to Rawlings.
Mahama.
He can be compared to Mahama. He can be compared to Mills.
So why not?
Nkrumah stands tall. Nkrumah stands tall.
So why not Nanado too?
Nanado should stand tall. Don't get me there. Nanado does not come anywhere close to Nkrumah in terms of achievements, in terms of vision, in terms of delivery, in terms of everything. He doesn't come close. But it's politics. It's a game of comparison. Sometimes you can decide to even compare who is the greatest leader in the world. You can compare Nanado to the greatest leader in the world. It's in your right to do so. So even though I think it's an exercise in futility, I won't begrudge you because you have your objective. Where I have an issue is the manner in which he referred, or he described Kwame Nkrumah. Yeah. And I'm saying that it's pathetic for me because here is a man people are trying to frame as arrogant, disrespectful, condescending. And your first attempt to speak to the people of Ghana, you fall into that trap.
Well, what do you
so now we are not speaking about what you are bringing to the table.
But rather,
and you see, and Otunfo told him something that makes sure Bawumia doesn't regret taking you. So you think if this happens 2, 3, 4 times, Bawumia will not regret taking him? Because you've taken somebody to help you. Now the person appears to be, is the person's comments or commentary would now be...
But is the party bothered about it? We had the communications director defending that
you see, politicians would defend everything. Because in Ghana, they think that when you apologize or you give in, it means you've lost. Let me give you a typical example. In 2012 or 11, no, 2010-ish, when Nanado made the or die be die comment, we saw what they did. They defended it. He went to another place, went to repeat it. He wanted to repeat it many times so that it becomes like something. It fell out of his mouth, accidentally. Yeah. But they wanted to make it appear as if he meant to say it. He didn't mean to say it. They went to other places to repeat it. They printed T-shirts with or die be die. But a few years later, in an interview with Bolare, he regretted and he said that he apologized for it. And he said he upon hindsight, he wouldn't have said so. So he actually apologized for it. So if he knew better those times, he would have apologized for it, he would have retracted. But later on, he retracted, he apologized. And he won the election. I'm not saying he won the election because of that. But when people come to their senses, things work for them. So the other Bidai thing they were saying and all over the place with, like this one, they did not mean it, they did not like it, but they had to support it because giving in will mean that they are lost. Okay. It's the same thing with this. If they have their own way, they in fact, people will call him and tell him, Charlie, you didn't say this word. Next time, don't talk like that. And you see, he gives credence to people like Professor Edu Jemfianko who say that he should be scripted. Okay. You can't be scripted on such a platform. Okay. But you don't give people the opportunity to say that they've been vindicated by saying that this guy, don't leave him to speak extempore because you make mistakes. Okay. This is what we are seeing.
We'll go more into this. We'll look at what he should have said when he got the first opportunity and how he can clean this up if there's anything like that. But Sami, people are saying that, the party, or those in government are not telling him that, some of these utterances, you need to stay away from that. Nobody is telling him the truth, that your back is not straight and all that. Is that what is the case?
Well, I believe that after this particular statement and his subsequent defense, I'm sure some of the party elders would have called him to order. I know that by now somebody within the party leadership or one of the elders of the party or even the entire elders.
We saw him repeat the statement.
Yes, but why would they call him to order? Why would they
not call him to order, as in call him to be guided by his statement.
Yeah, but why would they call him to be guided by his statement if the statement he made is good and is being supported and is being re-trumpeted?
How many people have defended, apart from the director of communication who has publicly
who is representing the party?
Yes, who has come out to...
It's not apart from him.
Hold on. If he's the only one, we've not heard others speak. Now he's perceived to be the official spokesperson for the party because he's director of communication. But I'm not sure his position is that of the entire members of the party or the leadership of the party. Some of them may disagree.
Oh, but if the director is speaking for the party.
There have been times that people have made statements, but others will also come and distance themselves from those statements.
But that's not what you want.
Okay, you speak.
Sorry.
Allow me to also make my point. So I'm not sure if the director of communication is speaking on this matter means that the entire leadership of the party or the elders in the party are against it. This evening, I heard Mr. Peter McMahon speak on another station, and he says that we should allow matters to lie. Okay. He didn't speak well. We should let the matters lie. So he's an elder of the party. He's a former national chairman of the party and one of the respected elders of the NPP. I heard him this evening say that we should allow matters to die. Perhaps he didn't speak well. Now, this is an elder of the party who is speaking to this matter. And Yagba has also come out to state an official position of the party or not. Now, will you compare the two and say that all of them are also speaking on the same note? There may be disagreements, but because Yagba speaks for the party, he may be asked to do so. Fair enough. I heard McMahon say that we should allow matters to lie. But Salom, I was at the place in Kumasi when we all heard this. Umar Sunday and I were like, oh wow, really? Because we didn't expect this coming. For me, as someone who's followed politics for a while, my expectation was that this is your first opportunity. You thank NPP supporters, assure them that you are going to work hard to ensure that the party wins the election, and call for their support, and criticize your mama or your opponents in the election, and then you ended there. Going back to Nkrumah, for me, was something below the belt, if you ask me. But this is not the first time we've had politicians, both within the NPP and NDC, compare themselves to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. We've had NDC officials make that.
Who? NDC officials did the same
Vivian,
thing.
and I'm not holding brief for anybody. In my research, I saw a story from a former Greater Accra regional minister.
Which one?
Under the Elsewhere administration. He's now a regent. Nila Afotabe.
Oh,
There's a story on Ghana Web. He says that John Mahama surpasses Nkrumah in development projects. Okay. And the story is dated Wednesday, 23rd November 2016. This Avotiabo who said it. There's another story which is attributed to the current national organizer of the NDC, which is Joseph Yamin. And he said that John Mahama greater than Nkrumah in achievement. And this story was on Wednesday, 27th April 2022. There's another former national chairman, former Ashanti regional chairman of the NPP, who also said that the story is dated 4th November 2020. And he said Akufo-Addo is much better than Kwame Nkrumah, former NPP chairman, which is the Ashanti region. So we've had politicians over the years. A former. And he goes by the name Robert Yao Amankwa. So over the time, we've had politicians, compare themselves and their government to that of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah stands tall. I've traveled extensively in Africa. If you go to Mali, you see Kwame Nkrumah statue there. You go to Guinea, you see Nkrumah statue there. You go to Ethiopia, you see Kwame Nkrumah statue there. So Nkrumah stands tall. And when I hear people say Nkrumah never dies, I want to agree with them. But Napo is not the only politician who've made those comparisons. I've given you examples of other politicians who've made similar comparisons.
Were they running mates and did they say Nkrumah no? Not the same thing.
Well, they hold different positions. They were not running mates. Fine, they hold different positions. But I'm just making the point that this is not the first time a politician is making those comparisons. Okay. I've even heard Nana Akufo-Addo or even Dr. Bawumia say that when it comes to roads development, they've done more than any other government from the Nkrumah government. So, because everybody was expecting Napo to say, or he was the man of the moment, maybe that particular communication didn't come out well. Yeah. But then again, Peter McMahon has said that let the matter slide and we'll move on. Right after this particular outdooring, they are around campaigning. Bawumia is in the north.
Sorry, let me make a small intervention. The issue about comparing Nana-Addo to Nkrumah, I think is ridiculous. Whoever does so is ridiculous. But I said that I will excuse that. They are politicians. Nkrumah is maybe the standard. Everybody will want to do the same. You can compare whoever to the best or the greatest leader of all times. But I'm saying that what nailed it was the manner in which it was said, Mukwame Nkrumah. And I'm saying that here's a man who is being framed as arrogant, condescending, and disrespectful.
I agree with you, Solomon.
So I'm not, the comparison, I think, it won't fly. Nana-Addo will not win this comparison. But they can say it.
I agree with you,
like
Solomon.
the same way that people have said, even though those people are inconsequential or insignificant.
Yes.
Compared to the personality of Napo now. Okay? He could be vice president. Those people were nowhere near vice president.
He's a potential president as well.
No problem. That even makes it worse. So I'm saying that when you are giving, you see, for example, a normal newsroom person may make a comment. It could be bad, the same comment. Vivian makes the same comment. Which of the two will carry weight? Vivian's one will carry because Vivian occupies a position of responsibility relevant to the comment. So when you are placed in a position, part of emotional intelligence is that you know what to say when. You don't make certain comparisons. So now everything you had to say on the night or on the day, which includes whipping up the base, telling them to go house to house and campaign and do all of that is lost. The people are now debating. If you hadn't said Nkrumah, The comparison with Nkrumah wouldn't have lived any longer.
I agree with you,
so
Solomon,
that is the issue.
But then you know the history of the Dankwa Buzia Dombo
That is
tradition.
not what I'm saying.
Hold on, let me make. I like you to make your point.
Today you are.
I'm sorry, Nkrumah is my man.
My senior.
I beg you, Nkrumah is my guy, so I beg you.
You know the Dankwa Buzia tradition and how they perceive or see Nkrumah, which is history. We all know about it. We read about it in school. We were taught in school. And so from someone coming from that region or that sector or that part of the Dankwa Buzia Dombo tradition, they will always have a different way in describing Nkrumah. And you should agree with them because they've always seen Nkrumah as someone more or less like he wasn't part of us or something. Even though he was part of the struggle, they perceive the Dankwa Buzia Dombo people perceive Nkrumah in a different.
Part of the problem.
Oh, Salom. Okay, Salom will not make me make
So
my point.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sami, go on.
You know how they perceive Kwame Nkrumah. And so for you to stand on stage and say Kwame Nkrumah, it gives you a background from where he's coming from. And that tradition have always had something against Nkrumah. So Ghanaians should understand where he's coming from and the tradition he belongs and the kind of perception they have about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Now, we saw him go to the traditional leaders and repeat and trying to justify his comment and, try to explain, coming back to the same point. I think he's comfortable with his statement from what
exactly
he said.
The point I make about the all die be die. And the thing I said about politicians, when they make a mistake, because their base tells them that, oh, King, you are well dressed.
And he had people clapping.
Yes, King, you are well dressed. These are the people. King, oh, you are well dressed. Oh, this, oh, you said it right. Hey, this, hey, this. But those people, you always have them. The people you need to win the vote, or the election, they are the people you must appeal to. Maybe Napo's choice, they say, is to ginger the base. That's why they took it to Ashanti. That's why they did it in the heart of Ashanti. They brought the core of Ashanti, Menchia, in it. Maybe that is the reason. Maybe they don't care about the 30% sympathizers, the 30% floating vote. Maybe they don't care about those people for now. Or maybe Napo's job is not to deal with those people. Maybe Bawumia will deal with those people. But you see, the problem with that is that whilst Bawumia is trying to attract those people, you will be behind, dispersing them. And so what would you have been achieving? You have been dispersing them. The way he speaks is important. He must relook at it. So again, out of that whole event, what did Napo say? What did Napo say that you as maybe a journalist or somebody, you will mull over or think over? I didn't get that. And so did he achieve his purpose? Maybe to us, no. Maybe to the core for which he's been selected or nominated or chosen, maybe yes. Okay. But of course, we only see that at the end. So it's I don't know, but the Ashanti region is key. What the NPP, I think, knows is that if they're able to whip up the votes in Ashanti, if they're able to get to 78, 80% turnout in Ashanti, and they're able to make about 73, 74, 75%, they can forget about what happens elsewhere. They will win. In Greater Accra, for example, I've always said the two parties will split. At worst, it will be 45, 55. Even there are only two parties running. One will not get 60 or 70, and the other, no. They always split it. Central region, maybe Western, all those other areas, they will split it. Bawumia is doing some work in the northern part of Ghana. So maybe 40, 60 or 45, 55, they will split. Okay, so Ashanti, which are voter region, maybe 70, 30, just like Ashanti. But Volta doesn't have the numbers like Ashanti. Ashanti is densely populated, so is Accra. But Accra, they will split it. But in Ashanti, if you're able to get your votes out, you're able to get a turnout of about 78, 80%, and you're able to get about 73, 74, 75% of those people, you forget about what happens elsewhere. When you look at the data shows that any time that the NPP gets below 70, 73% in Ashanti, they lose. So in 1996, for example, they got 65%. But in 2000, they got 74%. 2004, they got 77%. 2008, when they lost, they got 72.5%. 2012, they lost. They got 70%. 2016, they won. They got 76%. So anytime they come below 73%, there's a problem. So that is why the issue about apathy is so important to them now. And that is why, as they've chosen Bawumia, who is not from the region, they had to choose somebody from the region. And somebody from the region and must be somebody who has hands-on experience, who can campaign, who is on the ground, etc. That's when you look at all the guys who came up. Napo stood tall. What also worked for him is that he comes from the heart of Ashanti. He comes from Menchia. He has the backing of Menchia. And when you listen to Otumfuo's speech was an endorsement of the selection of Napo. That's one. Number two, his speech showed his personal involvement in the success of Napo. His speech showed his personal investment in the guy. So he said he paid his school fees. He helped to pay. He did that. Yeah. When he finished school, doctor. So this. You know, meaning that at every stage in the guy's life, he was there. So now it's like you have a child who has grown, he's doing well, and now he's getting to the ultimate. That was the setting, and that he gave his endorsement, not in so many words, but everything there showed that Otumfuo endorsed him. So if you are somebody who has a problem with Napo's outlook and everything, he said no, he doesn't see him like that. But if that is how, if he does that, report him to me, to Bawumia. Report him to me. I will reprimand him in the room or inside. Which means that that's a father taking responsibility for the child. That is so powerful. And for people who are not so sure, that statement from Otumfuo, who are not so sure but believe in the leadership and the strength of Otumfuo, that is enough to move them towards the NPP. So Otumfuo did a great job, and I think his wisdom and everything came to bear on the day.
Right. I agree with you to a large extent. I agree with you. But the politicians are making all these statements on campaign platforms. Well, it's an election year. We expect more of this. Nanado said, "Oh, die, be die." Recently, we heard former President Ronald also say, "Do or die." And that the NDC is also coming from a revolutionary background or roots. So we should expect, boot for boot in the election. So we should expect more of these things as we prepare for December.
Okay. All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at Mahama met the press as well. Some of the issues that popped up from that presser, and then other matters arising. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back to What the Papers Are Saying. My name is Vivian Kai. Look, I'm here with Stella Madonu as well as Sami Wiafi. We're looking at the big stories for the week. We'll move to the presser with former President Mahama. He met a number of journalists and did quite some speech, and then got quite a number of questions from them, about 40 or so, and responding to how he intends to do things when he's elected as president this time around. I'll just go through some of the stories as captured. Today, newspaper, for example, says, Airbus scandal. Prosecute me if I did anything wrong. Mahama's government. CityNewsroom.com says, nobody in my government will be allowed to buy state assets. And then ChannelOne Newsroom, for example, says, I'm committed to improving free SHS. So these are some of the things that, answers that came out from that person. Let me start with you, Sami, on your impressions on how he tackled some of the questions that were thrown at him during that presser.
Well, I watched on
and
TV.
What caught your attention?
I watched on TV. I was quite impressed about the responses he gave to all the questions, and colleagues asked very important, touching questions, in the hearts and minds of almost majority of Ghanaians, of an aspirant or someone who wants to be president again. And the responses he gave were quite impressive. It's different if you give the responses, and it's different if you're going to implement it when you become the leader of the country. So for me, all in all, he did well. Then I like the part that he allowed more questions. And in some of these interactions, you hear the candidates speaking plenty, and then give only small opportunity for question and answers. But this time around, only small introductory remarks, and then he allowed a question because indeed it was a media interaction. And I like the way he was open to every question. There are some questions I felt it were very, very sensitive questions, but he was able to answer. For instance, the Airbus matter. I felt it was a question that he would have, skipped or refused to give an answer. But then he gave a response to it. And he said that, if the government finds him, guilty or anything, they should prosecute him and the like. the question I was expecting colleagues to ask, and they asked, was about the free SH. Because government officials have always accused him that when he becomes president, he is going to abolish the free SHS, which has been an albatross around him there for some time now. And for him to take the opportunity, you know, he's been accused that, or he said in time past that he was going to review the free SHS. And political opponents have said that if Mahama always talks about review, it means he's going to scrap it or abolish it. But for him to take the opportunity to explain his position on it and said that, no, he's not going to abolish it, he's rather going to make it better. A lot of parents were at ease because the propaganda or the argument out there has been that when he comes, he will abolish it, parents will not be able to send their children to school again and those things. So I was impressed about the particular answer he gave on the free education. Going into the election, I feel all the aspirants must make themselves available for such media interaction. Even if there won't be any debate, which I've heard Dr. Bawumia calling for a debate, and then the camp of the NDC and Joyce Bawa Muktari, that's in it, right? Saying that they will not need a debate, they don't need any debate.
Do you think Bawumia will do one of these?
Yeah.
From what I mean.
Yes, yes, I'm reliably informed that he's going to do one of these media interaction and also open himself up for question. But he's calling for a debate. He's probably called for a debate between himself and John Mahama to debate on, you know, their policies. He's accusing John Mahama that, you know, former president, that, you know, the 24-hour economy, you know, he can't explain it. His people also can't explain it. So a national debate among the two of them will give Mr. Mahama a better opportunity to explain it, and then he, Dr. Bawumia, will punch holes into it. Going into the election, I expect all the candidates, all those who declare their intention, to have similar media interaction. So even if there won't be a debate, journalists and Ghanaians will know their intention, their motives, and whatever they have in their mind if they become president of the republic. So, you know, I was impressed. Colleagues asked, you know, the most important questions on the minds and hearts of ordinary Ghanaians.
Okay, Salam, were you also impressed with the answers on the question?
Well, I think it was a good engagement. Yes, it was a good engagement. Mahama is a comms guy, communications guy who thrives in such settings. So yes, it was expected. Yes, he answered the questions generally, and you could see at points to smartly evading some questions, which is the thing to do, because there are some questions which are difficult, and so you don't want to answer them. And sometimes the answers you give to those questions will not sit well with your base, even though that's the truth and that's what you must say. And I think he did that quite well. There's some questions he didn't answer. The question about what he would do with the office of the OSP, he didn't answer that question. What he would do with the National Cathedral, he answered it, but he answered it in his own way. If there was an opportunity for a follow-up, you would have guided him well, so you move him to the question itself. But of course, that's the nature of such conversation. So yes, he answered it. He tried to explain his 24-hour economy. He demonstrated some good understanding of the issues, the district assembly issues. And I think in Bernard's question, for example, Bernard's concern about, you know, I think the Bernard question was to point him to the fact that you reducing your ministers alone is not enough. If you are reducing your ministers and the MMDCs are increasing, I mean, you've not done much. And that will happen if we keep, you know, we keep dividing the assemblies as they are and creating new ones. You know, it makes it more expensive, etc. But he found a way of, you know, bringing it back to the constitution. That is the constitution that allows it. That is why he says that you have to relook at the constitution and all of that. So I think he tried to deal with all of that. And the issue about the Airbus, when that question was asked, I was wondering how he was going to answer it. But again, he threw it back to the people and said he's been out of office for the past 7 years, going to the eighth year. If there was something wrong or he did something wrong, why haven't they prosecuted him? You know, that kind of. So if somebody gives you that answer, then you don't know what to say again. Then you now turn to the next person and say, why haven't you prosecuted him if he's done something wrong? So I think a lot of the things will be for propaganda value, which is important in politics and it's important in elections. So it's great. Yes, I think Bawumia should do a similar thing. I don't think Bawumia fears the media. I think Bawumia will hold his own when he meets the media. He is very knowledgeable. He appears like he wants to deal with the issues frontally. And I think he has to do one very soon, and I'm sure that we'll have a good
Should there be a debate between the two of them?
Yeah, I agree. There should be. There should be a debate among the two of them because obviously in the December election, majority of the votes will come between the two of them.
Bawa Mukhtari believes
there's no need for a debate, you know. But the Bawumia camp is pushing for a debate, and I feel as Ghanaians and voters, we should get a debate. In the U.S., we saw a debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. The advanced democracy, they did it. I'm sure we should do a similar one here. If not, we will not add the other political parties because they just add up to the numbers. Just
NDC and NPP.
Just NDC and NPP.
We won't add Cheddar and CPP.
If you're those people, we shouldn't waste time on them. Let's do only Bawumia and Mr. Mahama. And I'm sure Ghanaians will get value from this too.
There's issue about the debate. So I take you back to 2020. You know, I mean, in Ghana, the losing candidate calls for debate. I've said that before. The losing candidate calls for debate.
In this case, who is calling for
No, I'm saying that in Ghana, that's how it is. In the year 2000, yeah? In the year 2000.
So Dr. Bawumia is the
No, I'm not saying that. I'm
asking.
No,
I'm saying the one calling for the
debate.
No, hear
so
me.
Dr. Bawumia is the losing candidate. Just
In the year 2000, when there was to be a debate, NDC said no. But towards the runoff, now, what's the name? Atamus was calling for a debate.
Yeah.
John Kufuor said no, he doesn't want a debate. Okay, in the year 2000, sorry, in 2016, Mahama was the incumbent, but he was calling for a debate. NPP said no, we won't do a debate. In fact, Bawumia said he should go and hold a debate with the people of Ghana over the economy. Okay, 2020, John Mahama again called for a debate as late as October, November. Samir Wuku said no, they will not do a debate. Every political party has its own strategies. So if in my strategy, debate is not the thing, why do I come and fit into your strategy? There was no debate.
John Mahama was calling for the debate.
Yeah, John Mahama was calling for a debate.
But went on to win the election. But in an analogy, you said that it's only the losing candidate who calls for a debate.
Who called for the debate in 2020? Who won the election in 2020? Who called for a debate?
But it was Mahama who called for the debate.
Did Mahama win 2020?
No,
did Mahama win 2020?
You know, in your areas
I said the losing candidate calls for a debate.
The one who calls for the debate.
Yes, so who lost 2020?
It was John Mahama.
So he called for a debate in 2020. Was he not the one who called for the debate? Oh, you're not understanding me. No, it is the way it is in Ghana.
You know, I said that.
No, I'm just giving a historical trend.
So yes, historically, and then we move on to the future.
We saw that debate in 2008 because, indeed, at the time, we saw that debate in 2008. It was important because John Kufuor was leaving and a new squad was coming. So that one, yes. So we saw that debate. There was another debate we were to see, but that did not happen because the candidate said he wouldn't do it. The opposition called for it. They said they wouldn't do it. When things were getting worse, now the incumbent wanted it. Said, no, we don't want it. Now go and do it with the people. So it's quite curious to me that right now, the people who said they didn't want a debate an election or 2 elections ago are now calling for the debate. Debate for what? I would love to see a debate. I would love it. I would love it. But does that fit into their strategy? What we haven't done well as a country is that we have not instituted that, like we've seen in the US, etc. So the debate is part of the process. People look forward to it. We haven't instituted that. We have left it to the political parties to decide if they will do it or not. So as and when they want, they will do it. If Biden had his own way, I'm not sure he would have done a debate. If Biden had his own way, I'm not sure he would have done. So look at how he was mauled by Trump. How Trump pounced on him, the guy forgot his lines and all of that. That has contributed to a lot of the cause for him to step down. If he had it his own way, he wouldn't have done it. But because the system has instituted that, they're doing Ghana, we've not done that, which is unfortunate. I don't foresee a debate.
Okay, we'll see in the coming days. But the statements will now make people not want to call for the debate.
No, but I thought about this. It's the way it's been in Ghana.
Okay, we have a few minutes. I think we should quickly touch on the SSNIT issue. The Minister of Employment was in Parliament on Thursday and says that the MPRA has approved the sale. So basically, this is gone.
It's gone. I realized it was gone when the CEO or the MD of SSNIT did that press conference.
Monday or so.
Was it Monday or Tuesday? I mean, just this week, yeah. And then, you know, justified why the sale was necessary. And after that particular press conference, I told colleagues in the newsroom that it's over. It's a done deal. It's gone. Because if you remember, the NPRA had issued a statement
for them to hold
asking
on.
SSNIT to hold on, and that they were doing their further consultation. I think a week after this press conference, or 2 weeks after this press conference was held by the MD or CEO of SSNIT, the Director General, sorry, thank you very much, of SSNIT, you know, justifying why there was a need to sell these assets. And said that even though Labadi was making profit, they needed a new investor who would give it a new direction, according to him. It was then I concluded that, you know, it was gone. So despite all the protests from Samuel Kujatu Ablakwa MP, despite all the protests from organized labor, despite all the protests from, you know, all the stakeholders involved, it is gone. I'm told that tomorrow, organized labor will hold an emergency meeting to decide their next line of action. I've heard Angel Kabonu say that the only option available is to lay down their tools as long as they can, just to mount pressure on government to reverse this particular decision, or put pressure on SSNIT to reverse this decision. But then my argument is that it has already been sold. It can be reversed. The pensions minister was in parliament. He told everybody in parliament that the thing has been sold. I'm sure by now, Rock City has started even, you know, doing the processing and everything. So it will be difficult, you know, to reverse this particular decision. And now, if they embark on an industrial action, who is going to suffer? Our children, our brothers and sisters, our nieces and nephews who are going to suffer in all this. It is gone. We should accept that it's gone.
Let it go.
It's gone.
So should we let it go? Gone.
Well, they said they've cleared SSNIT to sell it, to sell their stake. I want to take their words for it, that they've cleared SSNIT to sell it. Maybe it's not gone yet. I'm eager to hear what Labour will say. But you see, I mean, Bible says that, you know, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Okay, what is the end game? What is the bigger picture? You know, now organized labor, I mean, from what Sami said, are threatening to lay down their tools. Till when? And we are getting to a very difficult election. Is the regime ready and willing to hang their fortunes on this? If there is strike, organized labor is on strike, they are demonstrating, like we saw in Kenya, all of that happening. What is the matter? Because government is sold, or SSNIT is sold hotels to a minister. And that is the narrative we want on the street, that's fine. But once labor is saying that we've not seen the last of this, trust them, they will do what they will do. Unless some discussion, unless Brand is able to raise the figure to a point where they are satisfied. But you see, he might have met all the legal things. And I'm a lawyer, but not everything is legal, or everything legal is the way to go. There is morality as well. And we are a society of many things. That's why everything may be permissible, but not everything may be beneficial. Being permissible means that it is permissible or is doable in the confines of the law. But is it beneficial? What picture does it send? That you are a minister, you are in office, cabinet, and by the time you leave office, you have sold state assets to yourself. It might have happened in the past, but must it be something we should keep doing? In the end, what will we be left with? I mean, that is the consideration we must be having. And if the regime is ready to stake its future on this, because it will be a major campaign issue, that they are selling the places to themselves, like we saw in 2008, where the Foreign Affairs building is now. It became a major issue. The Gandangbe people and all of those people demonstrating. It became an issue in the election. If we don't want to learn from the past, and you know, for some reason, this is also, some of them are also located on La lands.
They like the La land.
You know, it's a good area.
It's a prime area.
It's a good area. So I don't know. I wish I knew what the thinking of Bawumia is around this. What the thinking of key actors is around this. I was disappointed when we did not see the process halted. especially whilst we know Shraj is looking at it, somebody should have said, okay, let this process halt. They got MPR did that for a few days, and we hear they've cleared it and all of that. I mean, I don't think that the optics are necessarily right. Legally, they may have gone through the processes and everything, but is it the right thing to do? Okay. That is where we have to be looking at as well.
All right, our time is up. We have to leave it here and see how it pans out in the coming days. But thank you so much, Selamadanu, as well as Same Wiafi. And thank you, too, for joining us. We'll see you again next time. My name is Vivian Guy, Local. Goodbye.